So Shane and I have some really, really, really big news to announce for the first time on your show. Shane and I, of course, Jocelyn, you look shocked. You okay?
I am processing. I'm gonna black out, I think.
Jocelyn, we also would love to extend the invitation to you.
Turn the tables. How's that
Oh,
feel?
I would love to. Are you joking with that? This is what I mean about the universe. The universe loves me so much. Yes, I would love to.
Awesome.
Whatever it takes, I know I can make it through. If I hold out, I know I can make it through. Be the best I can. And I say to you, I know I can make it. I know I can make it.
Mike and Shane, welcome to the Degrassi Kid podcast. I can't believe we're finally doing this.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having us.
It's happening.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
So
I,
should we call you Jocelyn or should we call you Degrassi Kid?
I prefer to be
Or
called
just
Degrassi
the
Kid,
kid.
but
Okay.
the
All
kid, I
right.
like that. But Jocelyn is
Oh,
my name, so I'm cool with that. But I prefer the
all
Degrassi
right.
Kid.
All
Um,
right.
and the way I usually start these podcasts is I usually share a backstory of like how am I a Degrassi fan that has met the Degrassi cast and gotten you on my podcast.
Mm.
This story is maybe one of the craziest that I have, and I'm still like, I kind of was like, are they really going to show up today? This is crazy. I was hanging out on TikTok Live. I host a TikTok Live every single Tuesday. We talk about Degrassi for an hour. We play Degrassi games, and I was hosting a Degrassi trivia night, and there was this fan who came on named Comran who played trivia with me, and then went, by the way, I'm friends with Shane Kippel. Would you like me to try to get him on your podcast? And I was excited, but also like, this seems like someone's trying to sell me the moon right now. And a few days later, I'm in a group chat with him and Shane, and then Shane says, "Oh, and by the way, do you want Mike Lobel to come on with me?" And that is how we are here today. That's
And you're
insane.
like, I'm for sure being scammed right now.
I
Yeah.
was. I kept going back to the Instagram to check it was the verified account. I was like, this is absolutely insane. So I said it off camera, but like, thank you so much for doing this. I have both of your signed photos on my wall. It's blurry, but there's Shane. I, of course, have
Yay!
Jay in the corner. So it's. I
Awesome.
feel like I've manifested you out of my walls.
In
It's
in the
incredible.
corner as he should be.
Nobody
Because
On
it was my
timeout,
most
Mike.
recent one. I had a
You were
Yeah,
on
gap,
everybody
timeout,
puts Jay in
Mike.
the corner.
but it was right
Y-
in the middle.
yeah, no, it's Kamran is a very old friend of mine. We've done a lot together. I used to play music in his band, and even though we don't play anymore, we've still kept in touch over all of these years. And he called in to just to check in, and we were catching up. And he's like, by the way. I was just speaking with Degrassi Kid. I'm like I know of Degrassi Kid, yes, and he's like I think it would be really cool if I could hook you two up because I think she would really like to have you on. I'm like, yeah, man, yeah, do it. And then I think a couple days later, maybe even the next day, Mike was over at my place for something, and you got back to me, and I'm like, Mike, would you do this with me? He's like, yeah, hell yeah, I would. So, okay. Jocelyn, how about I sweeten the
Recruited.
deal for you? And then yeah.
It was insane. Thank you guys so much for doing this. I have
Of
so many
course.
questions from Degrassi fans. This was, oh my God, an outpour. I had to close the comments at one point. I was like, okay, I've gotten way more questions than I need. And I have had fans for you or questions for you that I've wanted to ask for my entire life. First, I want to say a shout out to Mike Balaban and Degrassi CSI. I have an option on my Patreon where you can throw some support at some podcasts, help with the recording and the equipment and all that stuff. And they wanted to help with this one because they were such a big fan of Spinner and Jay. So thank you so much to Mike and Degrassi CSI.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Woo-hoo.
We'll see what we can do for you here.
I believe in you. I have so many questions that we're just going to dive right into it. Before you even got on Degrassi, I know you both grew up in the rerun era of Degrassi Junior High and Degrassi High on TV all the time. It's showing in schools. Were you guys fans of Degrassi before you actually got in the show?
Heck yes.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, and I was just saying this the other day. I feel like Degrassi, the OG Degrassi, to me, it's like the most Canadian thing. It's like it's beaver tails, it's maple syrup, it's Degrassi, and I was a really young kid when it came out, so I was kind of looking up. You know, when you're younger than the
Hmm.
people you're watching on TV, and thinking, oh man, like one day I'm gonna get to go to a big a big kid school like that, and I'm gonna have big kid school problems, and that's wow, it's so dramatic. So yeah, I was a
Yeah.
big fan.
Wow.
I remember it was just on TV, perfectly planned for just that time when kids would get home from school, walking or on the school bus, whatever.
Mhm.
And yeah, like it was the TV would go on and Degrassi was there, and even if I was half watching it, I was still very familiar with it. Still remember Stephanie. Showing up to school in one outfit that her parents accepted and then changing out of it in the school bathroom into something much more scandalous. And like, I hope I meet a whole bunch of Stephanies in my time in high school. Yeah.
That's
I was like
incredible.
I was Team Spike for sure. I was like, I had never seen
Hell yeah.
hair like that, and kind of like, she was all punky. And I think that's the reason why I got into the music that I got into. Because, yeah, she was into like all of these cool bands that I eventually grew to love later on in my teenage years.
That's incredible. And then you show up to Degrassi, you're working with people like Spike, like Snake. What was it like when you finally got to meet these Degrassi OGs? Do you remember that moment?
I ran into a few of them at the fall launch that the CTV was putting up for their new fall lineup when they broke the
Hmm.
news Degrassi was coming back, and I didn't get to talk to them all that much that day. It was such a crazy day, and it was my first project and meeting other cast members. Colin Mockery was there, and I was a huge fan of Whose Line Is It Anyway? So I
Yeah.
remember standing outside waiting to go into the room, and I'm there with my parents, and like I'm facing Colin, who's very tall, which you wouldn't. I had no idea, but the guy's like 6'2", and
Holy shit.
he's over my mom's shoulder, and her and I would just our favorite thing to do for a large chunk of my childhood was just watch like 10 episodes of Who's Line Away. So like, mom, it's Colin Mockery, and I just couldn't believe. But being on set the very first day and seeing these guys like a little bit older, but still like exactly how I remembered them in the
Mm.
flesh, and now we're co-workers. It was just I couldn't, I was too young to process that. It was very much imposter syndrome for a long time. Yeah.
That is so sick. Mike, what about you?
I was just freaking out majorly, like trying to keep it cool. I was probably shaking. I was that
Mhm.
nervous. And I walked into Epitome Pictures where we shoot the thing, and as soon as I walked into the cast area, who should be walking towards me but Stefan Brogren? And I just had an out of body experience. I probably
Mm.
said like just garbage came out of my mouth, like nothing, And he was like, "Oh, okay, cool." I said something like, "For the dressing rooms," and he was like, "Oh yeah, they're just down the hall there." And I was like, "Oh my God!" And then I kind of like rushed to the my dressing room looking for my name because I didn't want to run into anybody else. I was like freaking out. I
Mhm.
closed the door behind me and just like, oh my God, what is like? Can I even do this?
A
They
hundred
were
percent.
royalty.
But
I
you
get
did do it, Mike. You
you
did do it,
crushed
and you
it.
did it
I
so
did,
well. Yes.
and now we're here.
And now we're here.
And now we're here. And that story makes me feel better because now you understand the kind of physical reaction that's happening in my body at this moment of time of like, oh my
Absolutely,
Oh,
God.
good.
adrenaline through
Good.
the roof. Your tongue, it's tied up in knots. You
We
can't
would have
move
it no other
your.
way. Like, actually, I feel like you could sound more nervous for my own ego and pride here, please.
Mhm.
No, I'm kidding.
You got it. You
Jocelyn,
got
you're
it.
cool as a cute. You're coming off cool as a cucumber here.
Good. Thank you. Oh, that validation is so good. Thank you so much. Auditioning. So then you've watched Degrassi growing up, you're meeting these legends, you auditioned for the show. Is your character the only character that you've auditioned for?
For me, it was only Spinner. Yes, I did a monologue for my first round of auditions. That unfortunately can be found online, and it's like one of the one of the most
Uh,
embarrassing videos because I had no idea what I was doing. It's so lame. But apparently they saw something in me. I'm very happy that they did, even if I don't see it myself. And I had to wait about 2.5 months before I heard anything, which in for any actors out there, everyone
Excruciating.
knows that if you do, well, if you don't hear back about an audition, typically within a couple days, you just forget about it and move on. So 2.5 months later, I hear that they want to see me again for a screen test, and I was in the room there with I believe like in the waiting room, I was there with Lauren and Melissa and Christina I
Wow.
didn't know who they were at that point. I was so nervous. I don't remember anything we talked about. But and there were two other people who were auditioning for Spinner. Can't remember their names either. I couldn't even remember my own name at that moment. And then after that audition, 2 days later, I got the call that I got the role, and later found out that they only ever wanted to see me for Spinner. So that's my
Oh, and you're the perfect Spinner. We love you as Spinner, so that's perfect.
Thank
We
you.
love you, Spinner.
I
It
love
is
you,
so
Spinner.
wild to me that they post these auditions online because
it was
for a
a
lot of
special-
kids, it's
It was
like
a special
the early stuff.
feature
On the DVDs.
one of the DVDs. Yeah, so someone just ripped it and put it out there.
You don't ever imagine though going into an audition, especially as a kid or a kid who's just started acting, right? Like this is all totally new to them, that in 20 years this tape is going to be posted all over the internet for anybody to watch. Like that's that's a whole nother level of pressure for an audition situation.
All right, we got back this test, right? And I got like the 2 billion D of my scholastic career. And I showed it to my parents and they super freaked out. I was like, hey, at least I'm good at something, right? And that made them threaten to up my Ritalin. I'm already a junkie, you don't want to push me to the crack, you know? And then my dad, he's like, you better study more, mister. I just wish they would clue, you know? That no matter how hard I study, that I did study. Stupid is what I am. Alright, peace out.
I couldn't
Yeah.
even imagine. As a fan, though, we eat that up. The fact that Sarah auditioned for Manny and we get to watch Liberty pretend to be Manny. It's up there with those mini-sodes of Jay being Emma and Paige being Liberty. It was iconic for us.
Right, the body switch. Well, I auditioned originally for Dylan, as you probably know, and I hope that audition never, ever surfaces. I don't know. I don't know
I
what
want it so
happened in that
bad.
audition. I thought it was pretty good. I was like, oh yeah, I think I get this character. You know,
I'm gonna find that audition today and make sure it surfaces and stays on the surface forever.
Who do you
We
think
have to
has
find
that?
it.
Can we call someone?
I'm sure someone has it. I'm sure someone.
I'm gonna
Jocelyn,
call
get
it
on
and I'm
that.
gonna destroy
I'm
it.
shocked that I haven't found it, which is actually insane. But this is actually one of my favorite fun facts that you auditioned for Dylan because it is such a 180. I bring it up in trivia all the time as a true or false because it's like nobody would ever believe that that's
People
the
would
truth that
never
you
get-
almost played
yeah.
Dylan. But if you had played Dylan, what would you have made you excited about playing that character?
I just think working with Adamo. I always wanted to work more closely with Adamo because I just like his energy and everything he brought to the character. And I always just found I was always on, you know, the wrong side of Adamo. I was always making fun of him, teasing him in the hallway, throwing like a horrible. And you know, you as an actor, you try not to judge your character, right? Because you want to humanize them as much as you can. But some of the scenes in the hallway where I would, you know, throw homophobic slurs at Adamo, we'd cut camera or we'd move on to the next scene and I would go, God, what a horrible thing to say. So yeah, so I would have just loved to work with Adamo more because he's such a good dude and yeah, so much energy and wonderful actor.
I
love
could
that.
tell you, as someone who worked very closely with Adamo, he felt that was not acting. He felt you were really coming at him that way, Mike. And
I'll get him on the
and
pod next.
he never wanted to be that close to you because he's like, there's something too real about this performance.
Is this a beef? Is this a beef? No, Adamo and
No,
I were
I'm
close, and I remember in New York when we were out in New York doing the New York Degrassi.
Oh, the Spring
party.
Awakening thing?
Yeah, the Spring Awakening
Yeah,
thing. And
yeah,
I remember
yeah.
this one night, and Adamo and I just wandered Manhattan like till 2 a.m. and we found ourselves in Times Square at like 2 a.m. after the party. You know, we'd been drinking or whatever, and we were sitting on the curb looking at all the shiny screens and the bright lights. And we had this, I can't remember exactly what we spoke about, but we had this real life, you know, like heart to heart, just like life conversation, you know, like what is life? What do we want out of it? And it was just a nice moment that I'll always remember.
That is so sweet. It would have been made even more sweeter if you guys had kissed throughout the entire time on the show.
That's right. Yeah.
Or
When in doubt,
if I
kiss Jay
was
Hoggart.
Or if I was invited to your Times Square moment, that would have been sweet too. So thanks a lot, Mike.
Sorry,
The
yeah.
invite.
Because
Shane, you
I
were
was
probably-
there. I was
Yeah,
there.
I know, I know.
I love that. Well, that
I
was one
know.
thing I was curious too, because I mean, Jay's real first appearance on the show is calling Dylan Michael Chuck Homo Chuck. You're
Yeah.
being homophobic towards characters that Adam was playing. Do you ever have that moment aside to just like, hey, like we're cool about this, or how do you handle the intensity of on screen versus on screen in those moments?
I think I probably at the time would have been more about keeping. I was never, I wasn't, those method actors who go on set, they're locked into their character. I was never like that. I needed to be free on set, so I wanted to engage with the other actors and feel the camaraderie and really be friends, right? That we're working on this all together as friends. And then when the camera rolls, that's when I switch in and I drop into Jay, and it's just like a different thing. And that sort of being loose and friendly with everybody gives me the freedom to sort of play the different characters. So I never really we didn't really talk about it because we were just kind of like getting to know each other as friends, and then the camera would roll and it was like, well, now you do your job, you say the line and you say it as horribly as you can muster. And then and everybody gets it, right? It's like the camera cuts and you're back hanging out, in the tutoring room or whatever, and you're just friends. So yeah.
I like that. How did your guys' friendship start? Do you remember the first time that you both met each other?
Shane?
Oh, it's us.
Hmm.
Wow. I can't remember
What
the first
was
time
the
we
first
met.
scene we were in together?
It had to have been. It would have been season 4, because
Yes.
Spinner and Jay didn't start hanging out until basically the Rick storyline
That's right.
that led up to the shooting with Jimmy.
Holy cursed. You too?
Somebody picked the wrong guys to mess with.
Someone named Rick Murray.
You guys are gonna want to get this off your clear coat before it ruins it.
But screw that, it's evidence. I'm telling Radich.
I'm telling Radich. You don't think he's gonna want to know why Rick tagged you?
Sean's right. Let's keep Radich out of this.
Buddy's going down. He's toast.
That was literally episode like part 1 of Time Stand Still. I can't remember meeting you the first time though. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Maybe we've never met.
Don't
Maybe
do
we
this,
still
Mike.
have to
Maybe
meet.
it's
Don't
all
do this.
illusion.
You know how I feel about simulation theory.
Well, either way, if you don't remember at first meeting, that is okay. Because one thing that we love as Degrassi fans, or TV fans in general, love when people who play friends on the show are friends in real life. So I want to know today, Shane, what makes Mike a good friend to you? And Mike, what makes Shane a good friend to you?
Oh no, I have to do this.
You have to be nice
now.
to him.
Dig
Yes.
deep,
Oh
buddy.
my!
Dig deep.
Come on.
It better be
All
nice.
right. Well, I am an
Put on
actor.
your
Let
acting
me see what I
chops.
can do here. Yeah, exactly. No. Mike's never gonna let me live this down. So basically, from the beginning, even though I can't remember my first faithful meeting with the guy, we had so much fun on set together. We were always laughing. Mike and I are both very talkative, both very strong personalities, different enough, similar enough, and we just got along very never a bad moment between you and I could honestly say in all of
Yeah.
these years. On camera,
Oh,
after we
Shane.
cut, traveling. Yeah, shut up. You see what you're doing to me right now? We've traveled. We've
Look at you
we've-
getting all soft and gooey.
yeah. We've been to mall tours around we've traveled a bunch. Now we're doing these conventions together. We took a long break away from seeing each other between, Degrassi rapping and then kind of reuniting the odd time.
We studied
with,
acting together also
yeah,
outside,
we went to an
outside of the
acting
show.
Yeah. So, but now that I've been seeing him at all of these conventions that we do around the U.S., it's crazy because we're not kids anymore, but we share that amazing bond from childhood that nobody can break or get in between. But now we're men. Mike's married. I'm not married, but he's like,
Ladies.
he has sorry to out you like that, but like
The Q form's here.
I love his family. I love the man that he's become, and now our friendship is rising to a whole new level now. Okay,
Wow.
that's what I
So
feel about
beautiful.
Mike.
Okay, all right, fine. Shane, that was really sweet. And it's true. We've been through so many things together. We went through the show together. We've had a relationship off camera as friends. I think we just respect each other as performers so much. And, we do have similarities. There's something about Shane and I that is similar. We're both drummers. We both, when we were acting on the show, we were studying outside of the show. We were studying with different acting teachers. We kind of were like checking things out, and we were doing lots of scene studies. And I think so we both kind of had this love of the craft that we bonded over.
Just the arts in general, music and
Yeah.
acting, right?
Yeah, just like expressing yourselves. And I would say the one thing I know about Shane is he is like, if anything, he is one of the most fiercely loyal people that I've ever met. And he wants to elevate everybody that he loves and cares about in his world. He wants to see everybody doing good. I don't think I've ever seen Shane express ill will towards anybody, frankly. He wants everybody genuinely to be happy and healthy and live their best life, and he will do whatever it takes to help support them in doing that. So yeah,
That is so
He's-
sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Shane,
he's
how
a
do you feel
catch.
hearing that?
I think I might need to take a moment here. This is like those reels of clips of interviews where Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are just gushing over each other. I was like, this was
Yeah.
supposed to be funny. Why are we getting all serious here? But no, that means a lot, especially coming from you, Mike, because of the amount of respect I have for you. And yeah.
Wow.
And,
Do you guys want me to leave you in the room together? You can take the room.
Can we? I'm sending you
is
a
that
digital
okay?
hug.
Can we have a minute here? I mean,
I love
Mike,
that.
there's so much more I want to say to you.
I love this. Well, I'm also curious because now you guys you're doing these fan conventions together. How did it come up, and what made you interested in doing them?
Pat Mastroianni, Joey Jeremiah, obviously. He needs no introduction. He
course.
has been doing these conventions with his co-stars for a long time now, and he and I were pretty close, and we struck up a friendship outside of Degrassi, and which turned into more of a mentorship where he was trying to explain to me of all the different areas because of the love that the fans have for the show and how it's living on just like his generation did, that this is an avenue that I should definitely explore with him, and if I was interested, he would show me the ropes and help me avoid certain pitfalls. After the Drake music video in 2018, that reunion, Pat hooked us up with my very first convention, which was the Toronto Fan Expo 2018. It was myself, Miriam, Cassie, Jake Epstein, and Stefan and Pat as special guests. He was kind of acting as agent, but also sort of appearing. And from that point on, it was just, okay, hey, do you want to do this convention here? Do you want to do this convention? And we started to get some traction, maybe we should start turning this thing into a legitimate tour. Then it was, Melissa had already appeared at another one with me, and then it was like, okay, who else would I like to see and do something like this? And I called up Mike, and it was about a year ago that we did our first one together in Hamilton, and then you and here take it from here, Mike.
It was cool, I gotta say, and we were used to, while Degrassi was going on, we did lots and lots of promo for it. We ended up doing these mall tours.
And also this weekend, Calgary felt the Degrassi high when the next generation stormed the city. E-Talk hit them all with the crew and got all the gossip on what's hot.
Hi, E-Talk. Welcome to Market Mall in Calgary. Hundreds of screaming fans have turned up. I'm going to be signing some autographs along with some of my friends from Degrassi, but what I really want to know is who else are these kids loving these days?
I'd love for Andrea Lewis on our show to get her big break.
Well, there you have it. So many options, so little time. For now, I've got to go sign some autographs and dream about my own heartthrob, Jude Law. So thank you, Calgary. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome.
I don't know, Jocelyn, if you were ever at any of our
No, I
tour
never
events.
got to be. No.
So I feel like it was, early days. We were used to flying into a city. There would be two cast members. They'd pair us up, and it was always kind of random. And we'd fly to, like, Shane and I went to Denver. Did we go to Boston together?
No, I was in Boston with you. I've never been to Boston.
Oh, we're gonna go to Boston. So yeah, so we were kind of used to that, and then meeting the fan, that was really the moment. Because when you're making TV up in Canada in kind of isolation, and then it's going out to the world, and we had no idea that it was becoming so beloved in the US. So that was the first time I think that we were really confronted with the fans for the first time, having queues that were like 4 hours long. We'd just be signing. I remember my hand would just be like, ready to break off at the end of the day.
By the
And
end,
then
it wasn't
meeting
even a
these kids.
signature. It was just a mark by the end.
Yeah, it was just like,
and your face. Not to cut you off, Mike, but like what I
Oh
mean.
yeah, the
You're-
muscles.
You're smiling for so long, and not a fake smile. You're just so like flattered and like of everything
Yeah.
that's coming at you. Like it feels like you worked out your jaw in a way that is
a great jaw
indescribable
workout.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Like you're just aching for days afterwards, right here, just from
Oh
smiling.
my God.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. So then when Shane approached me about the conventions, I suddenly realized, okay, well, the show still has fans. There's a life to this show. The show is done, but the fans are not done. They're out there. They've got questions. They still want to interact with the show. There are a whole generation of new fans that are being introduced to the show now and coming up and watching it. The parents of the original fan, and there's I've realized it's like perpetual. It's out there. It's been on several streamers, and it will never stop. And there will always be fans that want to interact. So I thought, oh wow, like just because we stopped doesn't mean it stopped, and everyone's still out there. And so getting to meet the fans like we did back in the day was just an opportunity to get back out and have those interactions and get to see the impact that we had, and also get to hear from the fans, and just kind of support the show and what they love. So it's
That
really
is
fun. It's really
incredible.
cool.
I love that. I live in Prince Edward Island, so I never got to either like go to Toronto or go to the US and do anything. But something that brings me so much joy is after all these fan conventions wrap, is I will get an influx of Degrassi fans sending me their pictures that they took with you guys, telling me their stories. If they learned a Degrassi fact that they didn't know, they've taught me so much from your panels and things like that. So, as someone who's a big member of the community, I have to say thank you guys for doing this, because I might not get to physically go to them, but even as a Degrassi fan online who love these, I still feel like I get to be a part of it and be included because I'm in this Degrassi fandom world. So it's making an impact.
Yeah.
And I'm also curious because I know that some people kind of have, teen actors, they have kind of two avenues. They're like, yes, I was this person on this TV show and I'm proud of it. Or they're like, no, that's a part of my past, loved it, but I don't want to talk about it anymore. What is it that makes you both feel so proud of being Spinner and Jay from Degrassi and still showing up to these fan conventions?
For me, there was a period where I think every actor, especially child actors, go through a period where they want to distance themselves a little bit. It's just natural. In the industry, you don't want to be typecast, but like in life, you want to think that there's more to you except this one role, which makes up like a large percentage of your identity, even in your close circles. But to the public, it's really all that people know you for. And so it just takes some time to like kind of process, step away, recalibrate, and either many of us have moved on to other things. People didn't continue with acting. I was one of those people, like I took a break and I started focusing on music. But I think with all of the other cast members that I've been in touch with and other like at the conventions, we're meeting other like former Nickelodeon stars, Disney stars, whatever. Everyone is on their own path, and some people,
Yeah, it's a very
some
personal
people,
journey.
it's a very personal thing, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just kind of like where it sits with you, what your experience was on the show. And for me personally, I have realized, I always realized, but the longer it's been since I was on Degrassi, and that whole period has been put into perspective in my life with, 10, 15 years of wisdom on top of it, I realized that in large part or small part, Degrassi still plays a role in every interaction, every opportunity that I have to this day. And because I'm active on social media and I get so many cameo requests and now the conventions, and I see like this love that the fans have, parents that now have their kids watching it, and friendships and relationships that the backdrop to those friendships and relationships growing in the first place was a shared love for Degrassi. And I don't know when it came, if it was gradual or more of like an overnight thing, but like it just made me feel so grateful that I got to be a part of something so special. Not just, an actor, the what you could hope for above all else in getting into acting in the first place is an opportunity to play a role on a show that becomes popular and it gets to go on for a long time. But for me, I got to do that. I thankfully the spinner resonated with the fans and the actors so that they made my role bigger and more interesting in the fan. So I got to do everything that I would have wanted to do by playing spinner. And then if that wasn't enough, Degrassi meant so much to the fans that, I mean, 15 years after being done with it, it's like it almost feels like it runs deeper now than it did back then. So I have nothing but gratitude. And if any interaction that I could have with fans, I think they think I'm bullshitting, but it means so much to me that it was kind of like a role that was put on me as like this ambassador for, navigating your way through childhood that I don't think I was ready for when I was on the show. But now that I'm older and I understand what it meant, I'm happy to take this on. And I feel almost like John Cena does with his Make-A-Wish things. It feels, I'm just very happy that I get to be in this place.
And we
Yeah.
love you as a spinner. So the fact that you're such a champion for spinner and know the value that we have as fans, or the value that we have in spinner as fans, that means a lot to me to hear. So I like that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Of course. Mike, what about you?
All right,
Yeah, man.
Mike, I allow you to speak then.
I mean, Shane, you really covered it, and like just to tag on to what you're saying, everybody's on their own personal journey, but my journey, yeah, really similar. As a young actor, you want to, you're always focused on the role that you're playing at the time, and maybe I took for granted like the impact that Degrassi had while I was in it, because you can't really tell until hindsight, and now I feel it's like a responsibility. I have a duty. I was given this incredible opportunity and this incredible role on a show that has affected so many people. I don't take that lightly. And I've moved on from acting. I'm behind the camera now. I'm directing. I'm doing other things, but that sort of allows me to hold that sort of free mental space in my head and my heart for the show that it is as much a part of me as my family and things that I'll never be able to change that about myself. It's like just a part of my story, and I'm rising to that responsibility to take that and to keep giving back to the fans who want it, because they're there, and it makes me feel great to be able to interact with them and know that I did something so special to them. Like that's everything that I wanted to be as an actor, was to lend my whatever I could, whatever they saw in me, to a character in a story that had some sort of net positive effect on the world. So yeah, it's a responsibility. I take it very seriously. It will be with us forever.
That makes me so happy. And this might sound kind of crazy because I'm not an actor and I was never under, well, I was an extra on Degrassi for one episode, but I was never really on Degrassi.
Nice.
And I know you can, I'm like,
Wait, which episode?
Rusty Cage. It's like, I'm in like it's like a hockey scene and I'm like in the crowd and the like camera swipes by really fast, but like my blurry elbow is in it for 5 seconds and I'll take that claim forever.
Nice.
But even though I was never on Degrassi changed my life. It made a huge impact on me as a teenager. It's the show that helped me come out of the closet. The fact that, you know, Jay was a part of Alex's coming out episode, Spinner's a part of Marco's coming out episode. Those all made an impact on me as a kid. And whenever I started to learn about the history of Degrassi, and there was this whole like Degrassi Junior High, Degrassi High, and the fact that Linda and the team wanted to help kids like me, that is when I locked into Degrassi. And I said, I'm going to be a champion of this show forever. And even though I wasn't on it, I feel that way about it. Like, I know that when people watch my content, it's that freedom of like, you can love things from your childhood out loud and it's okay. And we can get on TikTok live and play trivia together and be silly. So I can relate to that aspect of feeling like a champion for Degrassi and a sense of responsibility towards it, even though I wasn't on it, but I feel that same way. I know that you guys too, you're meeting so many Degrassi fans at these conventions. Is there any one moment with a fan that still sticks with you today from those conventions?
So there are plenty. There are plenty, and I wish I had time for all of them. But this when we were at Smoky Mountain Fan Fest, last August in Tennessee, and there was this one man, Reuben, who came up to the line. He was so friendly, tall, handsome. Like I still remember him vividly. Like, you know, tied back dreads, a nice like pink button-up shirt. He came all the way from Honolulu to meet us in Tennessee. So he flew in to Nashville, then made the drive, which was about, I think, 3 hours from Nashville, came, bought everything from all of us, said what Degrassi meant to him, a couple nice things, shook our hands, and then just walked away. That was it. He's just like, thank you so much. Okay, bye. And then, and I was thinking, like, if that was me, and I made like, I don't know, a 10-hour flight, and then followed by a 3-hour car drive. I bought all your stuff. I'm hanging out with you all day. But all he wanted to do was just say, like, hey, very nice to meet you. Love you on the show. Spinner was great. Hi, Melissa. Very nice to meet you. Loved you on the show. Ashley was great. Like, just working down the line. Photos with all of them. Yeah, singles, signatures, group shot. Okay, great. Bye, guys. And then he was gone.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wait, I have to interject and tell you, Reuben goes by the name Degrassi CSI, and he's one of the people who sponsored this episode. So shout out to Reuben.
Wait, so you know, really? Okay.
Reuben's
awesome,
actually coming to visit PEI at the end of the month, and I'm going to meet him in real life. Yeah. We're like super
So I
close
got
online
that
best
right,
friends.
right? He is from Honolulu,
Yeah.
right? I'm not, yeah, okay.
Huge
cool,
fan.
cool,
Like,
cool. Yeah.
way bigger fan than I could ever be. Like, he schools me on Degrassi stuff all of the time. It's incredible. His collection's huge. Yeah, we love Degrassi CSI. Reuben.
Awesome. I'm glad I got those details right. And Reuben, when you're listening to this, know you made an impact here, buddy. You made
He's
an
gonna
impact.
love that. I'm gonna send that to him personally before this even comes out because he's gonna freak out. The fact that I didn't even mention him and you did, he's gonna love that.
Okay.
That's great.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Mike, what about you?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there isn't really one moment that sticks out of my mind, but I'm always man, I don't want to get too heavy, but like there are some people who approach me and tell me really quite vulnerably that Degrassi saved their life.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just say, like, thank you for making the choice to be here and to continue. And I think that just having some real moments where I can feel them, you know, like we're in the same space and we're connecting and we're able to just like appreciate each other as humans and celebrate, you know, that things were difficult for them, but that they got through it. And that's just, you know, gives me goosebumps. And it's incredible how vulnerable people get. So I love those moments. They're beautiful moments, you know, and then you carry those with you too, like forever. Just like it kind of bonds you in a weird way. You don't really know who they are, like there's someone you're just meeting for the first time, but you think about it. You think about them, after the fact, and it kind of like connects to people who are from different parts of the world. And yeah, it's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Like to your point, I think that was also, and maybe you could speak to this too. I think after enough cameos that I did at the beginning, it was all like requests for birthdays and anniversaries and Christmas presents, Valentine's Day presents, congratulations for graduating from this college program, whatever it was. But one day there was a distinct shift where it started like all of these pep talks started coming in. And
yeah, I get a lot of pep talks.
Right. And I like, obviously it was a new feature, and at the beginning I didn't really know what to make of it because people are like, I'm going through these struggles, and I just thought that like maybe some advice that you could give would go a long way. And I think after getting enough of those, and then people they share like, very, you know, detailed stories about what they're going through or what a friend is going through, and it feels almost like a Degrassi episode. I think, and then like getting it face to face at the conventions when people tell us, like many people bring up the Marco Spinner storyline and how my character becoming, coming around and then rebuilding a friendship with Marco after he came out, and Spinner, growing as a person and not being homophobic anymore, said that gave them the strength to come out. So after you hear enough of those stories, I think that's when it became apparent the role the responsibility that was put on us. I remember when I was still filming the show and we would do interviews and we would meet fans, we'd get questions like that. And my initial thought was like, this is not me. Like, I appreciate that you feel this way. I really, really do. But like, you should be congratulating the writers for getting that right. I just play this role, like this is, you're putting too much, I felt like you're putting too much on my shoulders where like I'm not worthy of this. I'm not even sure if I want it. But now years later, and I understand what it meant to people, that it's like you said, Mike, it is a responsibility that we are tasked with now. And I want to be careful and as honest and helpful as I can be when people are coming to me. Strangers are coming to me for like with possibly for something to get their life back on track, something to like help them find meaning when they feel lost. Like that's a huge ask of a person. I want to be ready for it every time. Yeah.
Oh, that is so sweet. And it means so much as a fan because I mean, I'm on that other side of like Degrassi changed my life. I watched you guys every day after school. Like the life lessons that I carry with me are the lessons that I learned from Degrassi. And because you guys were the same age as me and it felt like I went to Degrassi, knowing that you guys have just as much care about the characters and the storylines. You put so much work in like the cancer storyline, which we'll talk about. You put so much work into your characters and showing up for these storylines. Knowing that you feel that way in real life really helps me connect to the show even more. And the first thing I did after I came out is I went, Annie Clark is one of the people I started reaching out to because her character impacted me. And at the time we had Twitter and she tweeted me back. And I remember I had like a framed picture on my desk of her tweeting me back and liking my tweet. And I kept that for years and years and years. And it means so much to know that you guys care about that stuff too.
Yeah. And it's funny you brought up the writers, Shane, because like we do share this with the writers, and I hope the writers know. They're like, they get hired, they go into other shows, but they did an amazing job on this show.
Incredible. My next goal is to get a writer. I'm hunting down the person who wrote my favorite episode of Degrassi. My goal is to get them on next. So I think I'm going to make it happen. So it'll be fun to talk about. Also at conventions, people can get things signed by you. Is there any memorable items that you've signed at these conventions?
Oh yeah. I mean, the big one is tattoos. This is like, so there's this phenomenon. It's happened more than a few times. Someone will come over and say, "Oh, hey, can you just like sign this, my body part?" And you're like, "Yeah, okay, cool, whatever." And then they'll say like, "Just like write something like maybe like whatever it takes underneath, or whatever, some quote." And then they'll come back to you 3 hours later
Not
and they'll have
even, man.
fully,
Like,
yeah, 30 minutes later, it'll
Yeah.
fully have been tattooed on their body.
Oh my
That's
this just
probably the
happened.
most. You're like, I'm like, wow, that's wow. Okay,
This
that's
just
cool. I
happened
always
in
take.
Niagara Falls. This is a
Oh,
true
did it?
story.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, I remember I have the pictures of it, but yeah, this just happened to us. When was Niagara? A month and a
Oh
half ago?
yeah,
2 months ago?
yeah. That's
Yeah,
right. Yeah, it
yeah.
did
Oh my
happen. No, you're
God.
right.
How does
I
that
always
feel?
take a picture.
Insane.
Part of me, as like has like a worried parent approach. I'm like, no, that's forever.
Yeah, that's gonna be on your print.
You have to be
Yeah.
sure. But then I think about it. I'm like, yeah, it's the show's been on for we're coming up for 25th year anniversary for the next gen.
Yeah,
It's been a long time. I'm sure they've thought about it.
they've thought
And
about
she
it.
she was an adult, and what also like she had it done on her forearm, but she had all the original cast like Joey and Snake and Spike and Caitlin all down this side, and then it was Mike, it was you, Melissa, and I that signed this
Yes.
side, and she's like, "I'll be right back," and she came back, she's like, "Got it," and
That
it's
is incredible.
yeah, it was very cool.
I think that's
I always
cool.
try to really carefully do. I like this. Better be the best signature I ever
Nice
signed.
signature I've ever done. Yeah,
No
Yeah.
pressure.
That is
Yeah.
incredible. I have a few Degrassi tattoos. There's two that I'm the most proud of. The very first time I visited Degrassi, I got the Degrassi street sign. It's on my leg, so I can't show you. But I got the
Nice.
Degrassi street
Oh.
sign, which felt so cool. And if I can humble brag for a moment, and then I met Linda Schuyler, and she gifted me her own Degrassi street sign, which made it even
Oh,
cooler.
that's
What?
cool.
I know. But this
Oh
isn't
my
about me
God.
humble bragging. The other quote to tell you how much Degrassi means to people is the quote, the moment that changed my life on Degrassi was Fiona Coyne comes out to her mom. She's talking about Holly J. She's, Mom, I'm in love with her and she's a girl. And that's the moment that I was like, holy shit, I'm a lesbian. And I was so obsessed with it. That was my first ever tattoo. I got the quote, I'm in
Nice.
love with her.
Yeah.
And she's a girl. And I know Annie Clark freaked out and was like, are you sure you want that forever? And I was like, yes. And
Yeah.
I'm so proud of it. It's my big Degrassi
That's
moment.
amazing.
Could I just ask you, Jocelyn, for a
Yeah.
second? I did see that I creeped your Instagram for a bit. I wanted to see what was going on.
Yeah.
And
You creep?
I did.
me.
I did. And so I saw that video that you cut together. First of all, talking about that, and then like where you were in Toronto and Linda got off the streetcar and then like walked over to. So like, how did that all come about for you?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll try to condense this into a short story. So I've always posted about Degrassi my entire life as just like a casual fan. But then when the reboot got announced, Annie Clark reached out to me and was like, you should take advantage of this and start a podcast. So that's when I started being more of a content creator. And a few months after that, Linda had started working on her book, The Mother of All Degrassi, or the publicity for her book, The Mother of All Degrassi. And Annie Clark was hired as her publicist and said, you should get Jocelyn on this because she like makes content online and she's a huge fan. So they came up with this idea where me and Linda would go to all the major Degrassi locations, junior high, where like Spike found out she was pregnant, all that stuff. And I interviewed her at each location for these short little bursts. So for the Mother of All Degrassi, I was Linda Schuyler's social media manager, and that was my life for like a year. It was sick.
That's so cool.
That must have been so cool for you.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
absolutely insane. So I have another tattoo on my leg. Every time I go to Toronto, I usually like get a tattoo that says the Kids of Degrassi Street episodes were all very like Ida makes a movie, Cookie goes to hospital. So I have a little film strip that says Linda writes a memoir to commemorate like me being her publicist
Oh,
during that.
cool.
But yeah, it was a dream. Annie Clark, the character, the reason I love Degrassi, the reason that I am gay, referenced me to Linda Schuyler and I became her publicist for a year. Like that was
That's
insane.
incredible.
I know.
Holy
True.
full circle moments.
If I can brag one more time, Linda Schuyler also threw my 30th birthday party at her house.
What?
I know. She got me blue
Why
and yellow
wasn't I
cupcakes.
invited?
She didn't even do that for me.
I know. It's actually she took piano lessons and learned how to play Happy Birthday on the piano for me, and then wheeled out blue and yellow cupcakes that said Happy Birthday Degrassi Kid.
Oh my god.
Oh my.
It actually doesn't even make
That's-
sense. Doesn't even make sense.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is spoiler, but I hear you made your way into the Whatever It Takes documentary too. Right?
Yes, I don't know
Yeah.
what will. This is public because it was a public event. I don't know what will make it
Okay.
into it, but they flew me to Toronto and had me host a trivia night. And the essential idea was that if the question is like, what was the first episode of Degrassi, then they would cut to the history of Degrassi. But then Drake got on it, so I don't know. I'm sure I'm the first person who got swiped from that documentary.
Don't be
But-
so sure. I have no idea. I'm excited. I can't remember what I said in my interview. I don't. I don't know, but like it's gonna be wild no matter what. It's at
gonna
TIFF,
be
so
sick.
it's gonna be crazy.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
There's that, and then my final humble brag is when Degrassi was in Canada's Walk of Fame for the 25th anniversary. I got to go on stage with Stefan and Brogan and introduce them and induct them into the Hall of Fame.
Nice.
Cool.
And that's my
Cool.
Degrassi resume. And then I get to finish all those stories with, and then I interviewed Shane Kippel and Mike Lobel on my podcast. So those are my highlight
Wow.
reel.
You know, your whole career has been building towards this moment right here.
Very
It
moment.
feels like it to have someone join my TikTok live and be like, "Do you want to hang out with these huge Degrassi stars?" Like, yeah, that's pretty freaking cool. The universe loves me. I
You're
do think it's
manifesting.
because like I'm so committed. This feels like my lifelong passion and my purpose in life is to be a champion for Degrassi, and that's why I think the universe is just like giving me all these opportunities. So I'm taking them. I'm saying yes to everything.
Mike and I know a little bit about that. We're on that wave in a huge way right now. It's funny you bring that up. Okay, but yes, yeah,
Okay, I have more questions for you.
sure.
Lay him on us.
Is there anything that you've kept from your time on Degrassi? Any physical items?
I didn't like take anything from set. Apparently, I'm one of the few cast members that didn't.
Oh, I didn't
there,
either.
there were things that I bought at a discount, but I have no idea where they are now. What I do have are like I have a whole bunch of scripts and call sheets and sides. For those of you that don't know what sides are like whatever scenes you're going to be shooting that day is like a shrunken down script just with those scenes in the order that you're going to be shooting those scenes for quick reference, and everyone loses them all the time. Everyone's given their sides at the beginning of the day with your name on it, and then like
And
2
they're
hours
always
later,
in the shot
where are my
accidentally
sides?
because they're poking out of an actor's back pocket.
Absolutely.
Or, like
And then-
someone
and
left
then-
them on a table in the
Yeah.
scene, and you get
Yeah.
halfway through, and you're like, oh my God, who left their sides in the shot?
Oh
Yeah, and then it would always be. I have such fond memories of like either Mark Pantzer or Andrew McNeil, just like you're in between scenes and you don't even have to, or you're sorry, like the camera cut, maybe it's repositioning, you're between takes, and you just have that look in your eye, and then you would just like. Sides. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's so true. Hey, they were like
Yeah.
the sides whisperer. These are the ADs.
It wouldn't
And,
even
like,
be.
ugh.
It would be beyond verbal, and you didn't even have to make eye contact. Like you would just be like, and then they would just be in your face. Thank you so
And it
much.
was your Bible. Like if you needed to know, okay, I mean this goes for every film set, TV set, but if you're like, oh my God, what is the line exactly? Like, halfway through, when I walk over there and I grab the grilled cheese sandwich, what am I saying?
Yeah.
Again? So you always kind of go referencing them.
That's so cool.
But that's what you also had Nancy for. But yeah, lots of, and I have
Script
a lot
supervisor.
of. I have the actress who played Miss Kwan, Lin Lu, used to take she was very snap happy, and she used to take all the pictures in the early seasons, like all these behind the scenes shots. Some we were posing for, many of them were candid, and then at the end of the year she would give us like a whole photo album, every cast member of all these things. So I have them, and I'm intent on like drip releasing them, the less embarrassing ones. Yeah. But
Dude,
that's
I
what
also have a huge collection of behind the scenes photos that I took because I'd bring my camera to set. I also have behind the scenes video of us just just goofing around like crazy kids.
Oh.
And it's so fun to watch. And I have like a ton of stuff.
What do you have?
I mean, it's just us like behind the scenes kind of doing things. When we went on location a lot, I would bring my camera because it was every time we left the studio to shoot, it was like exciting. It's like a field trip day where we get to go to a new place we've never been to, like Cherry Beach where we shot Spinner and Emma's marriage, and a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, like but I have the same thing like scripts. And I really regret now not stealing Jay's baseball cap.
Oh,
Like I think that would have been the perfect thing. I never ever thought like, okay, cool, I'm gonna sneak into wardrobe and I'm gonna steal myself the Jay hat and they're not gonna miss it because it might have been used again.
that makes sense. Interesting. Okay. Well, I'm gonna come to your house and rob you guys. So if you could leave the door unlocked, that would be great.
Sure. Always unlocked. Yep.
Now, I think I could talk to you guys forever because your characters went through so much in the show, but I'd love to ask, we'll dive into at least one major storyline. And I want to ask you guys, at what moment do you think your character went through the most growth? Shane, I'll start with you. What growth?
The most growth. There. That's a good question. Well, obviously, my head always goes immediately to the cancer storyline, because what kind of, to have the for lack of a better term, the like dumb but like manly, like brutish kid, have to get cancer as a teenager is one thing in and of itself, but to also have it be like testicular cancer, the thing that men would associate their manliness with, to someone like Spinner, that persona, that was really what made him him. And then to act out with that, and but to also understand more of his backstory of how he's terrified because his father passed away from cancer. And I think that was one of the most formative storylines for him. That, and also, like, because it just went on for so long, everything that happened surrounding Jimmy's shooting, and having to like find his way back over a couple seasons. Like, it was, I think, like towards the, I mean, Jimmy got shot near the beginning of season 4. Spinner confessed to Jimmy near the end of season 4, and he wasn't back in their good books until like what, season 6,
Yeah.
maybe.
It's not your fault. It's mine. In the bathroom, after we dumped that stuff on Rick, me and Jay told him you were behind it. And then he shot me.
Understanding that even the most, casual, thoughtless, innocuous little, goof could have dire consequences in the long run, right?
Yeah.
That might take years to undo, if you can undo them at all, right? Like, he made good with all the people, and finally was okay with Jimmy at the end of it, but like, Jimmy would never be the same after that. So that, yeah,
Yeah.
just understanding that you gotta think your shit through.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
course, the school shooting and cancer are two of the hugest. I'm curious, when you're tasked, the cancer one is very much about Spinner. What kind of research do you put into something like that?
Well, that was back in like the very early days of YouTube. There wasn't so much access aside from like reading medical journals, which, like, I tried a bit of that, but it didn't really. What I was looking for was interviews with survivors, specifically of testicular cancer, which was not an easy thing to find. I think I found one video, but it was just like, I knew that they gave me a huge opportunity with a storyline like that. I knew what I was going to be doing in the episode, and I didn't want to. I wanted it to be as real and honest as it could possibly be, and I didn't want to sort of, how do I put it? I didn't want to betray the anyone who had actually gone through that, to have it feel like it was unrealistic, and it didn't feel true to form at all. So they were just shots in the dark. It was the most research I had put into any of my storylines up to that point, and since, to be honest. And yeah, that was all it was. Like, make sure that you um that you are giving this everything you have to like honor all the people who have actually gone through this. There was a responsibility with that. Yeah.
I love that. Is there anything that you remember from doing your research where you said, okay, this is how this is going to impact my performance when it comes to shooting?
Yeah, well, it was about the insecurity and then um like the overacting to cover up your insecurity, like with anger, with kind of why am I forgetting? Like just kind of with some people would withdraw, some people would mask it, um, but like everyone was going through pain and however that would manifest for them, and then I had to make the choice. Like I mean, and the script kind of had it as Spinner, you know,
Yeah.
trying to just become ultra manly in the face of all of this. And I remember it for me, it was that choice. It became a little bit easier because that's where the script was leading it anyway. And once that decision was made, it's like, okay, how do we have Spinner become the ultimate like dickhead, but coming from a place of real pain. And I hope it came through that way.
It did. It
But
did.
yeah,
I
well,
love that.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
You shouldn't have to fight alone. 'Cause nobody's battle but your own. I think it's time to get out. My patience are fading fast. My bruises just a little bit easier. In dark times the shadows cast. What are you suffering for? You're proud of some kind of personal war. I stay in time and want you back.
Want a show? You want a show? You got one. Come on, John. Cameras are rolling, man. Man, chill, all right? Sorry, Johnny boy. Man up!
Thank you.
This is what one of the things that makes Degrassi specifically my favorite show is, yes, the producers set the tone of what they're trying to accomplish. The writers went to work and doing the research. But then you have these like 15, 16, 17-year-old kids showing up and saying, I want to do this storyline justice for the people who have gone through that. And the fact that every Degrassi character, I see you guys almost as ambassadors for the storylines that you go through. Paula Brancati's character got assaulted. She's now on TV. It's her face saying, hey, if you're going through this, this is the hotline to call. Drake was doing gun violence PSAs afterwards. The fact that you guys put so much care into showing up for your storylines and showing up for the cast or for showing up for the fans is, I think, why today we're still like, I want to meet you. I want to tell you how much this means to me because you guys put that work in. So thank you for that. Mike, your turn.
Sure.
What was the moment where you think where Jay went through the biggest growth?
Well, I mean, Jay was like a real slow burn, and you never knew whether he was going to do the right thing or not. And a lot of times he did not. So, so his character change happens over multiple episodes when he falls in love with Manny, and you see him start to act against his own interests, you know, like or how you would expect him to behave early on, and yeah, so I think it's sort of like unfolds over and then culminates in, you know, driving a school bus to California to help her. That's like the real full circle time where you see Jay actually puts his own interests behind somebody else's interests, and that's where you fully see him really actually caring about somebody with no angle, no strings attached, nothing expected. And I guess I always also think about the first moment where you see Jay in a vulnerable way, which it's probably like maybe in Secret, where, you know, Emma comes back to him and she wants to, you know, keep this relationship going. And I think Jay's actually, you see him a little bit torn up about that Alex is, you know, got an STI. Like he actually is worried for her.
Jay, can I climb in? I went to the ravine, but you weren't there.
My day kind of sucked in case you didn't notice.
So let's make you feel better.
Alex is sick with something. She thinks I gave it to her and she won't talk to me, so I don't feel like it tonight.
Are you gonna cry now?
You are one cold girl.
There's a ton of guys who would love a chance to be with me.
Right now, I'm not one of them.
That's like to me the first moment where you, it's like the kind of like the pebble in the shoe that then slowly over the next few seasons begins to, you know, change Jay.
I like that. And when you're an actor who's been playing this bad boy for so long, when you see these moments of growth in the script, are you kind of like, yes, like, are you rooting for your character?
Oh yeah. You're like, I finally get to do something like good and redeemable, and it becomes easier to, yeah, again, like going back to not judging your character. Although I always had to find a redeemable part of Jay for me just to play him. But you don't always see that, you know, it's just that's the work behind the scenes. But yeah, so it's a win. It's a huge win. You feel great about it.
Hell
It's
yeah.
like, yes.
And speaking of that work behind the scenes, I mean, Jay is the character. He shows up around season 3. We're already into the show, but we can see right away he's a bad boy. He's picking on Dylan. He's there to cause trouble. How do you kind of develop a backstory for Jay? Is there anything you made up to kind of figure out how did he get here?
I didn't really, I mean, I didn't have to make it up. I just had to sort of go into my own childhood because I grew up as kind of like a misfit, or I gravitated towards, you know, more alternative culture. And I was, you know, kind of more nerdy, a little bit more weird, a little bit more, you know, like that was my friend group, was like the small group of goth kids in the S hall at my high school, you know, sharing music and stories and ideas that nobody else wanted to hear about. And I got in my grade school when it started, when I sort of like found that in myself, the weird kid, and like letting my freak flag fly.
Hell yeah.
I got backlash for that. And there was a bunch of kids who picked on me or called me names, and I got spit on,
Oh my
you know,
God.
like little things like that. And so playing Jay initially, I was like, wow, this is going to be hard for me because I actually kind of hate these types of guys. And then I thought, no, you know what, man? You know this. You know what these guys are like.
Wow.
And you're gonna play one of these guys as best as you can. And that's gonna be your revenge. You're gonna
Wow.
get sweet, sweet revenge for all of this by portraying one of these guys successfully. And so that was my motivating my biggest motivating factor in playing Jay.
That is incredible. And do you think you captured that? Do you think you got your revenge?
Yeah, I think I got my
Hell
revenge.
yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Incredible. Another big moment, we have to, of course, dive into the school shooting because that's a big moment between both Jay and Spinner. And since right now we're talking about how much prep Degrassi puts in, how much prep the actors are you putting into the show, was there any did anything feel different about this episode? Was there any prep you did that made it feel a little more special like it was on TV?
Well, I mean, any cast member, any producer, any director, any writer that worked on Degrassi during that time will say that was the episode that changed everything and took Degrassi to a new level in terms of the subject matter that it was going to tackle. A school shooting, you have a character dying, you have another character shot, you have a SWAT team moving through the hallways of the school, and the backlot was just filled with cruisers and SWAT vehicles and ambulances. And I remember that episode in terms of workload would have fallen on Ephraim. the most, like, because he did such an incredible job.
Yeah.
And I, once again, trying not to judge your character. I didn't watch too many Degrassi episodes. I did watch that one because I I thought Ephraim was fantastic in every scene that I did with him, and watching that episode, um, I just felt so bad for what that guy was put through, and then eventually what it ended up manifesting as. That was the day that Degrassi, like, grew some hair on its chest.
Yeah.
And
I was gonna say the same thing. That was like the moment that Degrassi kind of grew up and
Yeah.
entered this new scary world. I do remember the table read for that episode, and there
Very
was
quiet.
it was very quiet, and there was a little bit of a disclaimer, I think, from the producers, and just a different handling of it. There was a weight and a tension in the air that we knew we were tackling this subject matter that frankly no one had done yet on TV, and it was just this kind of new concept in the world, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was like Columbine, and and it's just sorry to say that it's become like almost something that you just don't even bat an eyelash at. It's so commonplace now. Unfortunately, we're inundated with it. It's like, hard to remain vigilant and not desensitized to all of these horrible school shootings. But so I do remember feeling like everyone was kind of treating it with kid gloves, and we knew we were wading into I feel like we were wading into like a real immediate public discourse that was happening in real time. It was a global conversation, and we knew we were coming in and kind of adding a strong opinion or a point of view on the subject. And so
Absolutely.
it was.
That's why I think
I
those stories always stand out on Degrassi as fans, is because Degrassi doesn't just want to take a headline from the story and say, okay, we're going to talk about a school shooter. They make you feel bad for Rick. They make you feel bad for Jay. They make you feel bad for Spinner. All those emotions that they get really complicated in. And I
Yeah.
think that's got to be a part of why it still stands out so much. But Shane, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, of that episode, it was so long ago. I mean, we're talking, I mean, that had to have been about 20 years, 20, 21 years ago. And so I don't remember much vividly of shooting that episode, but I do remember, Mike, that our scene where you like pull me into that little nook where it starts out with a SWAT team member like walking past us, and it's like, no, this is our fault, we have to say something, and you like pull me in like this. We did. Oh, what was the line? It was like, we didn't do anything, and I pushed you
Yeah.
back, and like, we did, and then we walk
Yeah.
away from each other. I actually, like, I can still picture that walk and that pull into that movie. That's the only thing.
Me too, man.
Yeah.
I'm getting
Wow.
goosebumps as you're talking.
That's
And to
crazy.
see a SWAT officer in our school hallway
With a
was like,
semi-automatic, and yeah.
it was jarring. It was like, what universe is this now? It was
Wow.
so, because it was the furthest association from everybody's minds at that point, was like a SWAT team inside of a school. It was just like,
Wow.
yeah.
One of the biggest
Intense.
pieces of discourse around this in the Degrassi fandom is the fact that Jay and Spinner, they get expelled, they're losing their friendship, it changes their whole trajectory, but Alex doesn't face many consequences. What are your thoughts about that kind of discourse that goes on in the fandom?
Well, Alex getting off scot-free again, hey? No, I don't know. I actually, that's a really good question, Jocelyn. I haven't really considered that.
Yeah, Shane.
She's like that one person that, like, at the house party that gets broken up, and the one person that has a knapsack full of drugs that just jumps out the window, and the cops, they're like,
We love her for that.
we'll get back to that later, and then they never do. Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest though, I always felt like responsible for swaying like the Jay character felt responsible for swaying her into, I always felt like she was a victim, as much of a victim as his Machiavellian whims and as anybody else. So
Yeah. I know one of the biggest things from the Degrassi fandom is typically that, they put so much emphasis on Spinner and Jay, but Alex kind of got off scot-free. But my take on that is I think it's a little more accurate to what would have happened at the time. I mean, Rick was going into Radich's office and screaming at the top of his lungs, "This is what's happening to me. This is who's doing it." And Radich didn't care. And it wasn't like Spinner and Jay got caught because of an investigation.
Spay, I've never heard that one before.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's good. Yeah.
I ship Spay.
As we know, it wasn't because like they were doing their due diligence to find out what happened and there was an investigation. Spinner walks right into Miss Hatzlako's office and says, "It was me." And when she says, "Who else do you have to talk to?" He says, "Jay Hoggart." So I think the question I would really have is for Spinner of why did he think that the moment where where Spinner and Jay are in the bathroom convincing Rick, why does he think all of the responsibility falls on that? And is that the moment where all the responsibility falls on?
So I'm going to be completely honest. I do not remember Spinner going into the principal's office and confessing. I don't remember, or to Miss Hatzlak, whoever it was. When you said that right now, like, did I do that?
You did.
Doesn't sound like something I would do.
I bullied Rick a lot, and the whack your brain contest, the paint and feathers thing,
Yeah?
was my idea.
Is there anyone else I need to talk to about that? Well?
Jay Hoggart, he was in on it too.
Sarah, can you please pull Jay Hoggart out of class? Please have him wait for me.
I do vividly remember the scene in the bathroom, like Rick covered in paint and seeing him there, and I think like it was just in Spinner being a dimwit. It was still like blatantly obvious to him that why else would Rick have gone after Jimmy if it wasn't us putting that bug in Rick's ear, right?
Yeah.
And it was such a careless thing. But then again, like it's such just an honest kid move, who's pissed off at your friend and now trying to sabotage something else that you're doing. People do it over relationships, over like people that you're both interested in. You could be best friends, and then suddenly like something just makes you angry, and you go behind your friend's back and try to mess them up with something else. So I don't like there was obviously like it was not an innocent move, but it didn't think it would amount to anything like that. But as soon as he realized, and this was his best friend, and now it's just that drowning feeling when you realize something happened that's out of your control, that was because of you, and that guilt is just going to eat away at you. I don't think Spinner had. I mean, I know that Spinner didn't have any intention of Jimmy getting hurt. He just wanted to have his friend back so they could make fun of Rick together, right?
Yeah. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
We had a question from Mike, who's one of our sponsors today. We've heard before through Degrassi actresses that when their characters do things on the show, like if they sleep with somebody or if they get gonorrhea, the public perception of them changes. They've walked through them. They've shared stories of walking through the mall and being called a slut or having condoms thrown at them. When you guys,
that's awful.
It is awful.
That is
horrible.
Horrid.
Really
horrid.
Yeah. So my question for you guys is, Jay and Spinner, they end up creating one of the biggest moments in the show. One of the most beloved characters ends up in a wheelchair from it. Did the public perception of you guys change during that period of time?
Not for me. No.
We've uncovered sexism.
No.
There is. Yeah, we have uncovered sex for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like for me, there were. I guess I've been very fortunate that I can't honestly think of any negative fan interactions that I've had. So there were people who made comments who were like, "Oh, like you got Jimmy shut," but it wasn't like I don't like you anymore. Like,
Yeah, like the
why,
boo.
yeah, yeah. It was just more of like, like I love you on Degrassi. Don't like that you got Jimmy shot, but like, I still love what you do there. So it didn't really change anything for me, but it did end up being like a talking point especially at that point with any fan interaction that I had on the street. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's really strange because I got more public, you know, I guess, shit from people who were talking about the gonorrhea stuff. It wasn't the school
Mm.
shooting, which is very strange because like what's more, put
Yeah.
that on the scale. But like, walking down the street occasionally, I would have somebody yell like, "Oh, gonorrhea," or like, I would meet somebody in public and they'd be like, "Whoa, you're the guy who got in front of a lot of people." And it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
But no shine taken off of Jay. I'm always shocked to hear from what Jay did on the show and how people could still like be endeared to his character, that he could still sort of like that's always shocking to me, because when I like look back at old episodes, or I sort of like read synopsis of episodes and things, I'm like, I am shocked. I'm appalled at some of this stuff that Jay gets away with doing, and then he really gets off scot-free, and then in the end he redeems himself, and there really is no comeuppance for this,
Yeah.
for putting Jimmy in the wheelchair.
One of the things that gets the biggest reactions on Degrassi when it comes to Spinner is the fact that he married Emma Nelson. What was the read-through experience like for that? Were you aware that this was going to happen? Were you watching it unfold? What were you guys thinking
I
during that?
remember the read-through.
I remember the read through too. And so
I remember the hotel room in the read-through, and everyone is looking at each other like, "What?"
Yeah. So it for the read-throughs, everything is a surprise for us. The only thing that I ever knew was coming before it the read-through that we all did together was my cancer storyline. I didn't know any details, but they told me like, you're gonna have to shave your head in this. I'm like, okay. All right. But I didn't know anything. I didn't know what kind of cancer. At least I don't think I did. But I just knew that episode was going to be coming soon. The only thing I knew about the Degrassi Takes Manhattan was that it was going to be my final episode, because I think early in the season or halfway through the season, Linda Schuyler asked me to come in for a meeting, and she just told me, she's like, "We love having you here. You've been here for 9 years. Your character is as successful as we could have hoped for, and like we could keep writing for him, but then we think like because of everything he's been through, fans are going to stop caring because now we'll be reaching for storylines for him. So like if you're okay with it, and we're okay with it, and we just we give you the final episode of the season will be yours, and that will kind of be your send off." I'm like, I don't think I could have asked for a more gift wrap ending than that. But back to your original question, we were in the read through. And I remember I had Paula on one side and Miriam on the other side, and Mike. You were probably there with Cassie, like next to Kat. I can't remember exactly where you were sitting, but yeah, when that moment of waking up and we realized that we were married, we like I remember heads coming up and like looking okay, and then we keep reading, but it wasn't it what like that was like a big moment. There are always these big like unforeseen
Twist.
plot moments that pop up, and we were like, okay, that's gonna be fun. But I think the real reaction was when Spinner and Emma had the moment back at his place, where he was showing her like the wall of Spinner and all the things that made him, and then they're like, "Yeah, I don't really want you to leave," and like, "Yeah, I don't want you to leave," and then it's like, wait, wait, no, so they're staying together, and then as those moments play out throughout the rest of the episodes, by the end we're all like, okay, so this is happening, and then they're like, okay guys, so like, so what did you think? Any questions? Or like, yeah, we have a few. We have a few. But yeah, the way that they explained it to us, and that we just had to accept, was that Yeah, it kind of came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Spinner's been through something very traumatic. Emma, in her own way, has as well. She tried to, go out and explore everything that was possible and had to kind of retreat with her tail between her legs. And sometimes when you go through these life-altering experiences, you start looking at what you have and the people around you in a totally different light. Sometimes you realize that everything you were looking for was right in front of you. And we're like, okay.
Beautiful.
They're like, and we're not changing it, so get used to it.
This is it.
We're like, okay, yeah,
Incredible. Mike, what did you think about all that?
It was just fun for me to just get to play. I was like, okay, and now also I'm an ordained minister. Let's do this. It was like, it kind of was like, a little bit of a jump the shark moment all around. But I think in the spirit of where we were at in the seasons, right, and sort of like things had run for us, things were running its course. I thought, you know what? Let's do this.
Yeah.
I'm into Zany.
It's a movie. It's a movie.
It's a movie.
It was
I'm
a
into
movie,
Zany.
yeah.
Anything can happen, and let's just roll with it. I do. Yeah, I feel so bad for Jane in that tent scene, though. I'm like, oh, my heart. Yeah, that hurts.
I wish she got a better ending too, so we could give her some justice after that.
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
The way I feel about it is it was a movie. It was going to be bigger than ever. Also, like that and when Fiona Coyne kisses her twin brother, everybody talks about that in the Spinner Emma wedding the most. That like great for Degrassi for drumming up so much conversation through their movies. I mean, if we didn't have the Spinner Emma wedding to talk about, what would be the other big thing, right? So I was a fan of it purely for the drama. But Mike, I have to ask you, because the fandom is very Team Spinner or Team Sean when it comes to Emma, and you were best friends with both of them. Which one do you think Emma should have ended up with?
I want to be vague about this because I don't want to like come down on one side or the other.
Oh, okay.
This is no time for ambiguity, Mike.
Jay's bro
need to make
code
a
coming
choice.
It is bro code, and it's weird. I do still feel that way. So like, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
That's fair. That's
you
so
know?
nice of you. That's so nice. Well,
do you want to have a private conversation about this, Mike? Like, do you want to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Reuben, Degrassi CSI had a question because Jay and Sean are so close and Jay and Spinner are so close, but we never really got to see Sean and Spinner get so close, even though they were kind of in the same world. Why do you think Degrassi decided not to do that? Or would you have liked to see Degrassi do that?
I think that the room wasn't big enough for the both of them.
They
kind of had similar, things going on and similar like energy, and I feel like they would have maybe like argued.
Yeah.
It's possible. And also like I think a more, technical reality is there are just so many characters, so many cast members, and to find ways to like intertwine all of those storylines. I think maybe it was just a natural progression of all of these characters, and Spinner and Sean really didn't share too much overlap in that Venn diagram, but it would have been fun.
It would have been fun.
Hey.
I think if a reboot ever comes back, the fans are going to be asking for a Spinner Sean scene and have you both fight over Emma. That's what I think is going to happen.
Oh, there would definitely that would absolutely have to happen. Like I've had visions of that. Like if the show is brought back and if they ask me to bring Spinner back, you would have to shake it up immediately with Jane coming back and with
100%.
Sean coming back. Yeah,
that is
I also think it'd be interesting if they explored adoption, since Spinner went through the testicular cancer storyline. I think it'd be cool if they had an adopted kid. That's my vote for the reboot.
That's a great idea.
That's what I think. And Mike, I'm also curious because Spinner comes back a lot. He comes back in season 14. He's hiring at the Dot. We have Throwback Thursday. So we kind of have an idea of what Spinner's up to today. What do you think Jay is up to? And are him and Manny still together?
I feel like him and Manny are together.
I think they're endgame. I think they're forever.
I think they are endgame. I think they're totally forever. I think they have kids.
How many? Boy, girls?
I think they have 2 kids. I don't know why. I just
love that you
know
think
this information. I think they have 2 kids. I think they're endgame. And is it weird to think that somehow Jay like became, I don't know, like a teacher?
We would love
Is
that.
that totally weird? Or like
No, for him to be a mentor.
Maybe it's just my brain thinking of like the Degrassi mini nanny thing, you know.
Best
I
one.
just feel like he has it in him to wrangle kids, and I also feel like he would be like supportive of Manny's dreams still, right? You know, and that she would be working towards those, so she'd be quite busy with that, and Jay might be like a stay-at-home dad or have, you know, a very kind of normal job. I don't
That
know
is so
why I think that.
sweet.
Just wearing collared shirts and possibly like a Jehovah's Witness now, and just like complete
Yeah.
180.
And like their fights are, you know, like their fights would be like used to be more exciting.
Yeah, yeah. This
What
is not
happened?
what I signed up for. This is
I need
not
a
what
little
I
more
signed
romance.
up
I need
for.
you to like
Yeah.
do something kind of shitty, you know, or unexpected. I don't know.
Yeah.
That is so cute. Jay as
Or
a teacher
maybe
would
I'm just talking about myself.
Yeah.
I like it. Jay as a teacher would be incredible though, because I think he'd have the skill set to identify those kids that need help and being able to see like, hey, I went through this and reason with them. Same as like the shopkeeper did for Sean. So I think that would be possible. Well, I am not going to keep too much more of your time. I just have to say a big thank you to both of you. Quite literally a Degrassi dream come true. I can't believe you're both in my computer right now.
Aw.
And I have to ask about this big secret that I haven't asked about for the last hour and a half.
All
So
right.
Shane and I have some really, really, really big news to announce for the first time on your show. Shane and I have started a Degrassi rewatch podcast called Degrads.
Mhm.
And it's coming to anywhere you get your podcasts in a few weeks, actually, Shane.
Yes, yes. So we were very, very excited about this. Mike and I have been talking about this for almost a year, and just so many like the universe works in mysterious ways, and so many incredible things have happened. We've already recorded and shot 2 episodes as of today. More to come. The Our teaser will be launched on August 24th. Our first episode will be aired on September 2nd. So get yourselves ready. If you want to start following on social media, we do have the Degrads podcast on Instagram. And that's where, and on my personal Shaney Kips and Mike Lobel will also be giving any updates as it gets closer to it. But we've already had a special guest on one of the episodes. We have a few more signed up. We're not going to give any details away on it, but like
That's right.
this is all the Degrassi fans are going to get their fix in the biggest way. And Mike and I are having so much fun doing this. So
It's so
yeah.
fun. And we're going episode by episode. Of course, Jocelyn, you look shocked. You okay?
I am processing. I'm going to black out, I think.
Jocelyn, we also would love to extend the invitation to you to come on our show,
Yes. Yeah.
where
Yeah.
we get to interview you.
Yeah. Turn the tables. How's that feel?
I would love to. Are you joking with that? This is what I mean about the universe. The universe loves me so much. Yes, I would love to.
Awesome.
Why did you guys decide to do this?
Well, you know, Shane and I were talking. We feel again like that, you know, Degrassi ended, but there's still a huge audience out there who wants more. We hear this from our fans all the time. And we also kind of realized we haven't watched every episode of Degrassi.
Yeah.
Like,
This will be your 1st time?
yeah, we're
Yeah,
gonna
for-
become fans like
Yeah.
of the show.
I'm already becoming a fan of the
Yes,
show. Like
we're
right
slowly
from
becoming super fans.
and because so much time has passed and they're all such close friends of ours, like some that we don't really see all that much and some that we see all the time. The original cast members from Degrassi Junior High and High are good friends. So to watch them do their things, like I said it to Mike the other day when I was on the way home, and like I can't believe I'm going to say these words, man, but I'm so excited to go home and watch Degrassi and take notes
Yeah.
for tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, this is incredible. Okay, if there's
Okay.
ever anything you need at all, I would be honored to help you. So please
Oh my
ask me
gosh.
to help you.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Please.
Sweetheart.
Well,
My
we're
whole life
definitely
is
having you
Degrassi.
on the show.
Okay,
But
thank
yeah,
you.
You
we know.
just
Yeah.
you are now the podcast that's breaking news. How's that feel?
It feels incredible. I can't wait. I will keep your secret for as long as I need to, but like I'm gonna freak out. I'm gonna freak out.
Amazing.
This is incredible. Okay, wow.
Awesome.
Well, normally I would record an outro, but I'm kind of freaking out right now, so I don't know where to begin. Mike and Shane, thank you so much. I'm so stoked to listen to your podcast. I'm going to be a champion of it, and I can't wait to see the kind of things that you guys achieve together.
Awesome.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much, Jocelyn, for
Yeah.
having us. This was a lot of fun. We loved chatting with you, getting to hang out with you, and talking all things Degrassi. It's really special to us, and it means a lot. So thank you.
Thank
yeah,
you.
we had a lot of fun as I said we would. I had no doubt. You're a great host. I love your passion with all this and what Degrassi meant to you. And this is definitely not the last podcast that we will do, either on your forum or on ours. Yeah.
Insane. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate this opportunity so much, and I'm excited to keep working with you.
Awesome.
Okay. Thank you so much.
So
I'll
are
let you
we.
run away now. I gotta go freak out. Bye.
Thanks,
Have a great
Jocelyn.
day. Bye.
I have to send a huge thank you to Shane Kippel and Mike Lobel for coming on the Degrassi Kid podcast and then inviting me onto their podcast. I still am not over this. Like, this is the craziest thing that's ever happened to me, and I can't wait to tune into their podcast. You'll have to come watch my episode that I'm in. Oh my God. I also have to say a huge thank you to Cameron for joining my TikTok live and making this happen. That's absolutely crazy. And to our producers of this episode, Mike Balaban and Degrassi CSI. There's an option on my Patreon where you can become a producer and throw some extra love and support towards a special project. And they picked this one, and it means so much to me because I loved working on this episode so much. We also have to say a thank you to all the Degrassi fans who sent in questions. This is one of the first episodes I've ever done where I actually had more questions that I could even hope to ask on the podcast. So thank you to everyone who sent something in. So sorry if I didn't get to your question, but it seems like this is not the end of Mike and Shane and me. So hopefully we'll get more time together. If you want even more Mike and Shane, you can find them on my Patreon. I did a bonus video with them where I asked them some fun questions. I asked them their favorite fictional Degrassi song. We know they're both musicians on the show. I asked Shane what he thinks about Kendra disappearing into the Degrassi black hole. And if he heard about our episode that we did together where Kendra came on my podcast. And I asked some fun questions like, who would you cast to play Heather Sinclair? All of that is now over at patreon.com/Degrassi Kid. But of course, I have to say a special thank you to all of my Patreon subscribers who help make this podcast possible. Let me list their names off for you. Those are Jolene, Shay, Amber, Angelica, Christopher, Degrassi CSI, Emily, Catherine, Laura, Mundo Man, Nikki, Rachel, Sarah, Sarah J, Shannon, Sean, Sue, Taylor, Timmy, Mac, Adam, Angie, Anna, B, Becca, Blue Estrella, Bridget, Brittany, Callie, Katrina, Christine, Cian, Daniela, Darcy, Dave, Gina, Joey, Casey, Kristen, Legna, Lindsay, Lizzie, Lauren, Megan, Mina, Nadia, Natalie, Sam, Stephanie, Tawny, Tom, Alyssa, Amber, Brittany, Caitlin, Jessica, Kennedy, Randy, The Cheesecake, Ashley, Aubrey, Chrissy, David, Emily, Glenn, Jamie, Jeanette, Judith, Kate, Kylie, Lizzie, Lulu, Melissa, Mike, Mix Lucy, Paige, Samantha, Sarah, Shane, Sunita, Terry, Tierney, and Amber. Thank you so much for making this possible. Without you, there would not be a Degrassi Kid podcast. There would be no Mike and Shane. There would be no me going on Mike and Shane's podcast. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week when we talk to another Degrassi actor. Bye.